Sister Imado. I'm a nutritionist by profession, currently working at St. Teresa's Mission Hospital, KIIRUA. Today, my colleagues and I are going to talk about infant feeding, and mostly we'll focus on complementary feeding. But before we reach on complementary feeding, we know that infant feeding starts a long way. That is before conception. The nutrition of the mother determines a lot the nutrition of the child. So we always encourage mothers to take care of their nutritional needs before they conceive, so that they may have good storage nutrients to make sure that they can be able to take care of their nutrition needs and the nutrition needs of their children. And we also encourage mothers to have good nutrition during pregnancy, so that they can be able to have the nutrients for the child and for themselves, because we see that during pregnancy, nutrition needs are higher. And just after birth, we encourage early initiation of breastfeeding, and that is within 1 hour after birth. The mother should be encouraged to start breastfeeding, because this will enable the mother to get more milk for the first 6 months of exclusive breastfeeding. And as I have said, we will focus on complementary feeding. And we see that most mothers, they don't have a lot of problem when it comes to exclusive breastfeeding, because the milk is always available, especially when the mother is having good nutrition. So we have a challenge when it comes to complementary feeding, whereby the mother has to start introducing other foods to complement the breast milk. We encourage complementary feeding at 6 months, because we know that at 6 months, nutrients in the breast milk are reducing and they cannot cater for the needs of the child. And also, the child is growing very fast and the child's needs have increased. So, mothers usually have a challenge on what to feed, but we have nutrients that are of concern, that when the mother is introducing complementary feed, she has to put in mind that the food of the child should be rich in carbohydrates, should be rich in proteins and fats for the rapid growth of the infant. We also have the micronutrients that are vital, because at that time, the breast milk cannot provide for these micronutrients. And these are iron, folate, calcium, vitamin A, and we also have zinc.
My name is Caroline. At this point, I'll handle the composition and preparation of complementary feeds, because this is where we need to deliver a nutrient adequate meal for the baby. So for the complementary feed to be nutrient adequate, we need to consider the 5 food groups that we need to incorporate in preparation. So one, a mother should always ensure that there is a provision of carbohydrates. There are various options of carbohydrates around which a mother can have an option. We need to have a pulse and a legume group, where a mother will have a wide range of cereals that can be prepared to be baby friendly and to be included in the complementary feed for the baby. We also have the dairy products, and in the dairy products we basically mean the milk and yogurt, They also have a role to play in the daily composition of a complementary feed of a baby. So we also have a group of vegetables where it helps us to cover a wide range of vitamins and minerals that we have of public health concern. We have a group of fruits. They have a wide range of nutrients that are needed for the composition of the baby's food as well. And in fruits, this is where we depend on mostly for vitamins and minerals, and especially vitamin C and A, zinc, that we have already had a mention are nutrients of public health concern for babies of 6 to 24 months. We also have a group of fats where babies' food preparation needs an incorporation of cooking oils that are wisely selected for the babies. Because in the foods of a baby, we have some vitamins that normally cannot be absorbed without some oil. We normally call them the fat-soluble vitamins. So in the preparation of a baby's food, we always need to ensure that on a daily basis, we have to put on board the 4-5 food groups, and that is when you know you have already provided a nutrient adequate meal for a baby. So the second thing is about the meal frequency. In as much as a baby's food is prepared using the 5 components of a good complementary feed, we need to also consider the frequency of our baby's feeding, because by the end of the day, the meals are given in a frequency to ensure that we have given something for breakfast, something for mid-morning, something for a lunch, mid-afternoon, supper, because our baby will not be able to meet all the recommended allowances for the day using one meal. The second thing is about the meal preparation, where we need to consider a lot of hygiene measures, because at this stage again, most children are vulnerable to infections around feeding and meal preparation. So hygienic conditions in terms of preparation, feeding need to be considered. The other thing is about the feeding of the baby. It needs to be something a bit participatory. You don't need to force a baby to feed. Let them be engaged, let them have friendly ways of having meals taken. And by that, we'll ensure that complementary feeds are good in terms of adequacy, frequency, composition. And by this, we are able to meet the nutrients of major concern, which we said are protein, energy, vitamins, and minerals.
I'm Jeff, nutritionist by profession. I am currently working at St. Teresa Mission Hospital as a hospital nutritionist. I want to add on something on consistency of food. That's where normally most mothers go wrong. What we mean by consistency of the food, as from 6 to 10 months, we start our baby with the blended foods, pureed foods. Those are the kind of foods, the soft foods that the baby can be able to contain and be able to swallow, since their digestive system is not that well developed. So as the baby goes on to grow, 7 to 8 months, we start introducing other foods, semi-solids. So by the time the baby is around 10 to 8 months, that's where we introduce solid foods, and we also start by introducing the baby to family foods. So something else that we can have to put as an area of concern is whereby we try to enrich the baby's food by we can also use broth, we can also use soups, things like those. There are those days that we normally prepare meats in our household, so we can use that broth or the soup to enrich the baby's foods. Other thing is about introduction of the family foods. There are sometimes we can prepare our rice mostly, others prepare ugali. So you will find a mother that tells you that my baby feeds on ugali and milk. Yes, it is a meal, but we normally say it's kind of snack, because when you look at the various food groups, they are not all well represented that will help to nourish the baby's health. So the other thing is about introduction of the finger foods. Finger foods is whereby you introduce foods that a baby can be able to pick by his or her own self. For the purpose, let's give an example with you slice some fruits, you can have some steamed broccoli, you can have some steamed vegetables that can help even the baby to be able to develop a milestone. Okay. The other thing is about commercial feeds. As of this era, we find that most of the mothers, they try to look for ways which are very fast, and we find ourselves introducing our babies to commercial feeds without putting into consideration that those feeds they have preservatives that can be of harm to our babies in terms of maybe kidney wise, in terms of growth in our teeth, sugary products, things like those. The other thing is about, we normally have mothers who are having challenges when feeding the babies when they are ill. So here is the way to go. When your baby is ill, we find that it is a normal thing, being a human being. When you're ill, your appetite goes low. But now we tend to always encourage to feed small frequent meals for us to be able to nourish our bodies and to avoid malabsorption and to avoid malnutrition. So for the babies, we also need to put that into consideration, whereby we normally say encourage the baby to be feeding small frequent meals at a go. The other thing that you can also use to entice the baby to be able to feed, you can, as an example, just look for a plate whereby you're eating together as a family. You can have your own serving and you can serve your baby his own food. Let him or her encourage him or herself to be feeding on himself or herself. So those are the kind of things that we should also take into consideration when the baby is ill. And then the other thing is about fruits. Sometimes we normally tend to look for other appetizers. Yes, we have medications for that, but we forget that our fruits are very, very natural to give us a natural appetite. So some of the babies, you might tend to give them more fruits and then the appetite comes back. But now what happens if you're not supplementing the food with other feeds? The baby will always be asking for fruits. So that's all we can say for that. And it's good when your baby start that weaning period, that's complementary feeds. It's good for you to consult a nutritionist. Just pay a visit, you'll just get a diet sheet, a meal plan. You plan from 0 to 6 months what you're supposed to feed your baby, and that will be much of helpful as your baby is growing up healthy. Thank you.